Did you know that it can be way more expensive for a library to buy an audiobook or an ebook version of a copy than a physical book? That's why it's gonna take me like 13 weeks to get Chris and Anna's The Women on Libby. I thought that seemed kind of weird, so I asked Lisa Wells, executive director of the Pioneer Library System over in Oklahoma, about it.
Not only are we paying more for these titles to be offered digitally, we also are limited more in the ways that we can provide them to our customers.
The important thing to remember is that these copies are treated kind of like physical books. One person can only borrow one copy at a time. And there are generally 3 different ways a library can buy a digital copy. One is that a library can buy a digital copy that lasts for 24 months, after which they'll have to rebuy it if they want to keep it around. 2 is a library can buy a digital copy that lasts for 26 checkouts. And 3, there's cost per circ, where a library pays every time someone checks out a digital copy. Lisa's library buys their digital copies from Overdrive, which is the big digital distributor for libraries, and they have 88 copies of The Woman in ebook format at $60 a pop. That comes out to $5,280, which Lisa will have to rebuy some of those copies 24 months after purchase if she wants to keep up with demand. And demand is high. Lisa says digital use at her library has gone up 88% since the pandemic. Now, the argument for digital copies expiring is that it mimics the wear and tear of a physical book. But in some states, lawmakers are trying to regulate the prices libraries are paying for digital copies, even though similar legislation failed in Maryland and New York a few years back. Author advocacy groups such as the Authors Guild say the issue isn't the price libraries are paying, but the lack of funding for public libraries, because, people need to get paid. Lisa, our librarian from earlier, says this is an ongoing conversation between libraries, distributors, authors, and maybe most importantly, the public.
I would say 99 times out of 100, the public has no idea. They have no idea that we're spending this amount of money for these digital copies.
In the meantime, we'll just have to be a little bit more patient.